welcome to the Arrivals podcast.
I am so excited to be here.
I have Kiersten Saunders today with me. She is a mom, entrepreneur. Let's see, what else? Sorry.
Hot mess.
Financial expert, one half of the Rich and Regular brand empire.
Yes. A lot of things. But a mom first, I think. And it feels weird to say that. Like, I never thought I'd be that person, but I actually am. Like, it is where I spend most of my time and energy.
Oh, I mean, they kind of demand it, don't they?
They do. And you think it would get easier, but like it just gets different.
Yeah. That's what I've heard. I know, because your son you said he's going to be 9 soon.
Yeah, he'll be 9 in April. It's January now. So we just counted 76 days till his birthday.
Oh.
And he was mad because it wasn't 6-7. And so like, he's like, let's do it again in 10 days or whatever the math is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still in the thick of the toddlerhood, babyhood, but I've heard the challenges. They don't stop. They just change.
Yes. Yeah. Toddlerhood, babyhood was better for me than newborn. Like newborn was my worst phase. It is the thing that was like, I don't think I can have any more. But then I got to toddlerhood and it wasn't terrible. Like it was what I expected.
Yeah.
And then this age is like where I thrive besides like middle school. But like this little honeymoon between toddler and puberty is like, so good.
Something to look forward to then.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's so wild to me that we're sitting here about to record a podcast.
I know.
We met like 7 years ago when we were both working in the marketing department of a huge corporate hotel brand.
Yeah.
And we're both in such different lives now. I didn't even have a baby when we met. I didn't even have one.
So what year did we meet?
I think it was 2019.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So Beau would have been 2. And my husband, Julian, who also worked for the same company, had left the year before. So it was just me. Like I was the big bad breadwinner / mom / like
doing it all.
Doing all the things. But we were slowly building our business in the background and I was working on it like when I could.
Yeah. I'd love if you could tell the audience a little bit about what you have been up to since we first met.
Yes. Yeah. So we started building a business in 2017. We had gotten married in 2015. We had gone on our honeymoon. I got pregnant and had Beau earlier that year in April of 2017. And we had this idea that we wanted to be people who talked about personal finance for like the everyday person. A couple years before we had our kid, we had discovered this movement called FIRE, Financial Independence, Retire Early, which is like X Games for personal finance. Like it's the extreme version of personal finance. Like, you know how people tell you to save like 10% for retirement and then, by the time you're 60, you'll have enough. Well, these people were saving like 40, 50, 60% of their salaries and were able to retire by 40. And it was just the coolest thing ever that we had found. Now, a lot of them were child-free like us and young and in areas where, they could do this. They had figured out, how to keep their expenses down. But some of them were families. Anyway, when we would tell our friends about like this experience and this thing that we found, like they just were not interested. They could not vibe with the people who were talking about it because they were like, in the West Coast, they had these giant salaries because they worked for tech companies. Yeah. And they were just like, yeah, I'm a teacher, I'm a middle manager. Like I'm not able to save 50%. So we started this blog called Rich and Regular, where we would talk about all the ways that we were saving money, all the things that we were saying no to, all the trade-offs that we were making. And we were just writing and going to conferences and building our network and creating on social media. And about a year into doing that, we started getting real traction. Like we had heard from different press outlets. Our business was growing to the point where my husband was able to leave. He left and then I stayed and continued to work while he worked on the business full time. Did the primary parenting for our son, taking him to daycare, bringing him home while I traveled. And, the blog eventually grew to like a podcast, a YouTube channel, a book, all kinds of things. So now it's like a multimedia personal finance company.
Empire.
I guess you could use empire, but it's like I still go like clinical with the description, like multimedia personal finance, multi-channel. But yeah, we talk about money for a living and I still do that to this day.
That's so cool.
That was a long Sorry.
No, I love it. Well, I mean, it's so fascinating too, and I wanna hear, like, how did your view on money impact your decision to have a child? And I know you only have one,
Mhm.
and that was a conscious decision as well.
Yeah, yeah. So before Beau was born, like in the year where I was pregnant, like I thought, I literally thought I was going to spend my maternity leave building this business.
Yeah.
Like I was so excited to have him because it's like, oh, I get 12 weeks and I get all day.
Which LOL, that's no time.
LOL, no time. All day is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But I
Right.
thought I was like, I'll just build a business
Yeah.
while, I'm taking care of this kid and you go to work. Because at the time he was still working. And I I just had whatever I thought a kid was gonna do to my finances and my life, I was so wrong about. So I don't even know. But the decision to only have one was partially like I don't know that it was as much about money at the
Mm.
time, more than it was about like wanting to not feel like I was losing myself.
Mhm.
Like after Beau was a year and a half old, I was like, oh, if we're gonna have another one, we got to get started. Like, because I'm doing the math. I
Yeah.
was an older mom to begin with, but like I started doing the math, and it's like, well, if we don't have it soon, then I'm gonna be this age and blah blah blah. So when I thought about getting pregnant again, by the time he was like 1.5, 2, I was like, I'm not ready.
Uh-huh.
And luckily, my husband, I struggled with the decision because
Mhm.
I have a brother. And in my mind, I always wanted like 4 or 5 kids. I
Mhm.
wanted a basketball team. And I struggled with the decision, but my husband is an only child. He's his mom's only child. His
Uh-huh.
dad has other kids. He was raised an only child. And he was like, I mean, I'm good with one. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, well, I can just release that pressure and we can just decide to have this one, like to raise this one really well. And so that's what we did. And it's worked out well. Like there are times where I wish he had a sibling,
Mhm.
but we've done a really good job of making sure that he knows he has like this extended network of people who love him.
Mhm.
We are very involved in his school life and sports. And so he's like a very popular kid.
Yeah.
And all of the kids with siblings love to come to our house because it's just so calm and quiet, according to them, compared to their house. Like they don't have to share anything.
Yeah.
Like they love it. So it's been good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's interesting too because almost the exact same situation as Julian. I am my mom's only child, but I have a half brother, and he's much, much older than me. And I adore him. We're very, very close. But I was kind of raised as an only child,
Yes.
at least in the household, in the immediate household. And because of that, I wanted not to have an only child.
Yeah. That's
But
so
it's so
funny.
different for everyone, you
Yeah.
know?
He's in the same situation. His siblings are like 20 years older than
Yeah.
him. It's so funny that he interpreted that differently.
Yeah. I mean,
I
everyone's
know.
experience is
That's what
different.
makes this podcast so fun to me to listen
Yeah.
to because like you can hear people all going through the same life stage of
Mhm.
like, okay, you're having a baby. But the way that shows up in different people, it's like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Or like, oh, I never considered a natural birth. Like, that's crazy that people
Right.
do that. And then you realize, like, oh, I mean, if I could do it again, maybe I would. Like, it's just it's always fun to see things from different perspectives.
Mhm. Well, and when we first started talking about doing this with you coming on, you admitted you were like, I never even really thought a podcast about birth would be something that I would like vibe
Yes.
with.
Yeah, because I remember the day that you announced it on Instagram. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. But I listened to the first episode and I remember like in my house, it was like, it had to be like in the evening, in that period where you're like adjusting, you're like shutting down the day and getting ready for like second, third shift with
Mhm.
dinner, bedtime, bath, all that stuff. And I remember listening to it and like being able to tune out all of the background noise in my house. Beau screaming, the TV, the kitchen, and just being like, this is so interesting. Like I never thought I would be the type of person that listens to this kind of podcast,
I
but
love that.
here I am on it.
I love
So
it. Never
joke's on
say
me. I
never.
know, right?
Well, I feel like that's a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your birth story with Beau.
Okay.
When you found out you were pregnant, what was your take on birth, on a birth plan? How involved were you? What was the process
Oh,
like for you?
man. So I found out I was pregnant the day after we had just gotten back from a vacation. So
Mhm.
we went to St. Martin for a week and did all the things insane, or all the drinking. Like
Yeah.
the womb was marinated in all kinds of non-baby friendly
That
substances.
is usually how it
Yeah.
goes. That is usually how
But
it
I
goes.
had missed my period,
Mhm.
and I was at that time very, very regular. Like
Yeah.
my period was on like clockwork. And we had just decided to start trying like a month before, maybe like a month and a half
Yeah.
before. So like it was not a lot of time. The thought of being pregnant that soon, like the reason I agreed to start trying was because I thought it would take much longer
People always
to,
say that. That is the most
oh my
common
gosh.
story.
Yeah. So I didn't think I was pregnant, but I went and got a test and
Mhm.
took it anyway. And I took it and I was like, shit. Oh my God. Actually, I called my cousin first, my best friend, who was my cousin. And I was like, I think I'm going to go take one. I think like I'm late. And she's like, well, go take the test. So I took it. I called her and I was like, girl, like she was the first person I
You
told.
didn't even did you tell Julian that you were gonna go take a test?
No, no, which I don't even know that he knows this, but she was the first
Surprise.
person I told because I called her back and I was like, shit. Like I couldn't even, it wasn't that I was mad, but I
Yeah.
didn't know to be happy. Like it was truly like a
Shock.
shock. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he was at work when I took the test. I took it. I think I put it in like a gift box or
Aw.
something and gave it to him when he got home. And he had absolutely no reaction. He was like, what is this? Like, what is this? And I'm like, look at it. Like, I
Yeah.
thought I was going to be one of those storybook, like,
Right. You were filming it, ready
yeah,
to like
if I had been filming it, no one would ever see this video
Oh,
because it was like so just ridiculous.
anticlimactic.
And he's from Brooklyn anyway, so he doesn't have strong reactions, but it was just nothing. And when he finally got it, he was like, you pregnant? And I was like, yes. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, it was just like,
He's like, dope, cool.
yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So do I not need to be emotional? Like, it was just a very weird exchange.
Yeah.
He's also older than me.
Yeah.
So he's like almost 6 years older than me. So he just has a different approach to stuff like this
Mhm.
than I do. But it was also like my body. I was like, I can't believe there's like a little baby in
I
there.
know.
Yeah. So I was shocked,
Yeah.
and I didn't get excited until maybe a couple months later.
Yeah. So you're pregnant, and had you had any other friends like give birth, or like what was kind of your impression of what birth was going to be like?
I had one friend who had gotten married earlier and like had a kid who
Mhm.
was 5 at the time, but no one in my close friend circle was, let alone like pregnant, but they weren't married. They weren't even
Mhm.
dating. Like
You were on the earlier side.
I was on the earlier side, which sounds interesting because I was at this time like 30,
Yeah.
31. And I just didn't have like a close experience with like babies within my friend circle. And so I was
Mhm.
very nervous to tell my friends. And I was trying to hide it like during that like weird, period where you're not sure that
Yeah.
you're not supposed to tell people until like after a certain period. But we had a bachelorette party to go to.
Oh man.
Oh gosh. And one of my friends was like, I just had a dream that one of y'all is pregnant. And I was like, oh gosh. So I was like, it's me, guys. I didn't tell him until like the day before we
Yeah.
left because I had planned the party.
Oh man.
I know. And I was still sick. It was
Oh,
weird.
it's the worst.
Yeah. So I had planned the party, the trip, and it was in New Orleans. Ugh.
Mm.
And I finally confessed like right before we went. I was like, guys, I'm freaking pregnant. So, and then the bride turned out to be pregnant too. Like we didn't find
Oh.
out until afterwards. Like she was super sick after the first couple days.
You thought it was just a hangover?
And we thought it was just a hangover. We get back and she's like, I'm pregnant too.
Oh my
And she
God.
was further along than me. So our kids are like 3 weeks apart.
Oh, that's fun.
I know.
That's sweet.
It is. But it's a hot mess of a story how it happened.
I love
Like
it.
both of our babies were just swimming in liquor.
I mean, I could say the same for mine. Actually, I know I can. I know exactly when they were conceived. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. Best decisions. Oh, so when you found out you were pregnant and did you start going to kind of a traditional OB? Like what was your approach to like the pregnancy process from a medical perspective?
I called my doctor and they were like, it's too soon to come
Mhm.
in. Like you need to wait. So I waited up until that point. And then from there, like, yeah, I was just seeing my regular doctor we go to Kaiser, which everything is like self-contained.
Yeah.
And so I just started seeing my regular OB there. I never thought about, like I had heard about doulas, midwives,
Mhm.
but I never thought that I would need that. Like I just always assumed like, okay, this is going to be quote unquote normal.
Yeah.
I wish I had known more about the support that is offered to moms throughout the process, because I probably would have opted differently.
Mm.
But yeah, whatever they told me to do, I would do. Like I had no additional, what's the word? Like I had no additional support that I was bringing in to help me like translate whatever was coming out of my doctor's office.
Yeah. And are you close with your mom at all? Like, did she have any feedback on what her birth experience was like? Or yeah.
No, like the only feedback she gave was more so around like what my dad was doing or like what the doctor said when I came out, or what my dad said when I came out, but like nothing about her personal, like I was on bed rest or you carried low or no, I had that issue too. Like, no. And it's interesting because like as close as I am with my mom, some of the things around motherhood and like our bodies and how they change as they get older, I don't think she's comfortable talking about with me. And it's continued to be a gap since giving birth, where it's like there's the birth, but then there's like just perimenopause or menopause or just like how the body changes. And it's like sometimes I feel like I'm going in this thing flying blind, which is why I'm so grateful that podcasts and the internet and like communities and groups and different friend groups can discuss it now. Like it's not as taboo as it was when she was probably coming up.
For sure. I was going to say like maybe it's a generational thing.
I think so.
But my mom is like so open. So I don't know. Too open, arguably.
I love that. I have some aunts that are open like that. Like that will tell you a little too much, but I'd rather have that than having to learn it either the hard way or, through experience, or having to try to make meaning of it on your own without the background of like, oh no, that runs in our family. Or like, oh no, that's how all our kids are. It's like, oh, if you had told me that, I would not have spent so much time spiraling.
Yeah. So you had a pretty easy pregnancy with him, though. Like nothing, no complications, nothing. You found out he was a boy? Did you know he was a boy?
We did find out he was a boy, because we wanted to pick a name. And it's funny because another friend of ours was pregnant at the same time, and they were like anti finding out the sex of the baby. They didn't know what they were naming him. I think they were calling him like Big Bird. But I wanted to be able to talk to him and use his name.
Yeah.
And the pregnancy was pretty easy. Like the first trimester was awful. I remember we had already booked some travel. I was in Canada, like puking in the airport. I still got to go back to Toronto and Montreal and redo it. Yeah, I need to redo it without being, 2 months pregnant. But the rest of the pregnancy, once I got past the first trimester, was pretty easy. Like I didn't have a lot of physical symptoms, from like cramps to bleeding, like some of the things that I know that my friends have experienced, I don't remember experiencing. Doesn't mean that I didn't, but it was pretty easy. I didn't have a lot of stress in my life. Like we didn't have another kid. Job was pretty consistent, and we were still working at the same company.
Yeah.
And then 2 of the other women on my team were pregnant at the same time. So like it was a very flexible work arrangement.
Yes.
Because we were all just
same boat.
Yeah. Big and swollen.
And so did you end up like going to 40 weeks?
Yeah. So Beau is part of the elite group of babies who showed up on his due date.
Stop.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
On his due date. And so I had stopped working in the office. Like I was working from home for the last like 2 or 3 weeks of the pregnancy, because my boss had her child like 6 weeks before I was due. And so when she left, me and my coworker, who was also pregnant, were like, I mean, are you coming in? Do we need to? And so I was working from home. I was very comfortable. Like I wasn't feeling a bunch of contractions. I could feel him moving around a lot more. Like it was getting tight in there, but I didn't know like he was coming that week.
Yeah.
Now the night before his due date, I felt like a little trickle. Like I expected my water to break like a whoosh.
Yeah.
And instead it was just like a little trickle that I woke up to the night before his due date. Now on that same day, Julian decided to take a sleeping pill, like a sleep aid. Not like he has a problem, but like it had been a long week.
Right.
He took a sleep aid. And so I wake up on the couch like, oh, I think I'm a little, I'm a little moist down there.
Right. Which, I mean, at that point in pregnancy, it could be
Yeah,
anything.
it could be anything. It could be anything. So I go to wake him up and I'm like, I think my water just broke.
Mm.
And he is in a daze. Like he might as well be high because he's just like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? And we had like packed the bag and all that stuff. But like, it was a real like test to get him up.
Yeah.
And at that time, we didn't know to like wait until you're
I was gonna
having
say,
active
yeah.
contractions. We're like, it's like 2:00 in the morning. So we're making smoothies and trying to like eat something because we know once we get to the hospital, I won't be able to eat.
Mhm.
So we get to the hospital early. I'm not dilated.
Yeah.
Like I'm just sitting in the room waiting. We call the moms. They show up. They're like ready for the baby to arrive.
Right. So
And
they
it's
didn't
like,
send you home.
no.
Okay.
They checked me in and I'm just
Okay.
like, because I think it's because I told them that my water broke.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, okay, well, you need to stay here. Like, when are
Yeah.
you due? And I'm like, today.
That's wild.
So the moms all come up. It's like 7:00 in the morning and the
Yeah.
whole family's at the
I
hospital.
love it.
But I'm not dilating.
Right.
So then something happened where they decided to give me Pitocin
Mhm.
to help it along.
Sometimes if your water has broken but contractions haven't started, they get a little nervous. If you're in a more traditional kind of a B practice, they get a little nervous and want to get labor started because there can sometimes be risk of infection once your water is broken. And so
Yeah.
the clock kind of starts like,
Yes.
yeah.
It was that, and Beau was what they call sunny side up.
Yes.
So he was like facing down.
Right.
Like his head was down, but he was
He was face up. You guys were spine to spine.
Yes.
His spine was against your
Yes.
spine. Yeah.
So there was some pressure there,
Mhm.
and they just wanted to move things along. And I'm like, okay, cool. So they give me the Pitocin, they give me the epidural,
Okay.
and I'm just like chilling. I'm watching TV.
You're still not really dilated. You haven't felt any
No,
contractions, really?
I haven't
Wow.
felt any contractions. I haven't felt any pressure. Like
Uh-huh.
I felt a little bit of contractions, but it mostly felt like a period cramp, which I
Yeah.
have normalized and be like, oh, it
Right.
hurts. But like I have a very
We're
different,
tough.
yeah, I have a different relationship with my pain. So
Yeah.
I didn't think of them as contractions as much as they were like bad cramps that would
Mhm.
eventually pass.
Mhm.
And they weren't close enough where it was so uncomfortable.
And so the doctor didn't like talk to you about waiting to get the epidural until you were farther along or anything.
No, at least not that I remember.
Yeah.
So they give me the epidural and now I feel nothing. And
Right.
I'm just like kind of hungry, thirsty, entertaining.
Yeah.
I see one of my high school classmates. She's the security guard at the hospital. And I'm like, oh my God, Janice, like, what's up, girl? So she's talking to me and keeping me calm and
Passing
like,
time.
yeah, passing time. So the nurse tells me like, ring us when you start to feel a pressure. Like that's when you'll know that it's time to push.
That's so wild. It's such a different.
I know. So I'm talking and I feel this, I guess I would describe it as a pressure, but it's not what I thought pressure would feel like. I thought it was going to feel like something pushing on me. And this was more like a pull or like
Yeah.
a stretch. I don't know how to describe it. So I finally tell Janice, I was like, I feel the pressure thing. And I'm just saying this in a conversation like we
Right.
talking. I was like, I feel like I feel the pressure. She was like, hold on, let me go get the nurse. They go get the nurse. Turns out I'm now 8 centimeters dilated. And she's like, oh, we need to get ready. Like, so we call the moms back because they had left.
Where's
This was
Julian
like,
during all this?
he's there. He's there. This is like 6:00 at night. So we had been there almost a full day.
I hope he got a nap in at some point.
Yes, he did fall asleep. He also like went to the cafeteria to try to get some food. I'm the only one that has not eaten
Right.
since like 2:00 in the morning.
The worst.
And it's like, we got to get ready to push. And I'm like, all right, we'll call the moms. The moms come back. They couldn't be in the room with us at the time, but they're at the hospital.
Would you have wanted them to be in the room?
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, the doctor, like we get all ready to like start the process. The doctor moves this big ass mirror in front of my crotch. And she's like, do you want to look? I took one look and I was like, move the mirror.
You didn't want that. That was not your thing.
Move the mirror. So they move the mirror and I start pushing, but his what is this bone called? Like your
brow
forehead bone? Yeah.
Okay.
One of his bones was like caught on my pelvic bone because of the way that he was in me.
Mhm.
That sounds so weird. The way that he was like positioned.
Yeah.
And so I would push, but he wasn't making it past, the canal. And I was getting exhausted. My heart rate was racing. Baby was getting frustrated. And they're like, if you don't get this baby out, we're going to have to go in for a C-section.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the last thing I want.
Yeah.
Julian's freaking out because he's like, what is happening? And so finally I pushed from like the ancestral
You
strength.
dug deep.
I dug deep. Like I don't know how I was pushing before, but I didn't know like you were supposed to push from where I was pushing that last time.
Uh-huh.
And that's when he came out all bruised.
Oh.
But he came out, everything was good. Like, and it was just like, oh, like I wish y'all had explained it differently.
Yeah.
We could have got this done earlier. But it was a wild experience.
Mhm.
Like there's so much about it I don't remember, but I remember certain feelings. Like I
Yeah.
remember when he came out, I remember his cry.
Mhm.
I remember him on my chest, and I remember like them, like I just remember the swarm, but I don't hear anything except his crying and me telling him like, oh my God, I love your cry.
Oh.
And we have that on video. Like Julian's videoing by this
Oh,
point.
that's so cool.
Like by the time he comes out,
Yeah.
he's got the camera and we have that first little like, there you are. Welcome to World, Beau.
That's wild.
I know. And you know what's crazy? We tell him his birth story every year on his birthday.
Oh.
And every year we reveal a new detail about his birthday because he's older.
Right.
Like when they're 2 and 3, you know, it's a short version where it's like, and there you were in mommy's tummy and then you came out. And then when they start getting 5, 6, they ask more questions. You know, 7, they got like real questions. Like this last year, Beau was like, when he turned 8, he was like, how long did you know that you wanted me?
Oh.
And I'm like, oh.
That's a deep question.
I know. I can't say like, actually, my first words were, oh shit. But it's such a deep question.
Yeah.
But anyway, this year as he's looking through the photos, because we have our pictures on the TV through like an Apple TV screensaver, he's looking through the photos and he sees the doctor's name. And the doctor, which I hadn't even realized this detail, the doctor's name was Dr. Butts. And he thinks that is the funniest.
I'm putting my brain in like an 8-year-old voice, like, and I'm like, oh, I bet he loves that.
Oh my God. It took over as like his favorite detail. Before that, his favorite detail was me saying, I love your little cry.
Yeah.
After that, it's like butts. Like everything.
I love it. I hope you're writing all these things down.
Yes, I am. We started an email account for him where we like send him letters so that he can see how he was and is. But yeah, every year he finds a new detail. So it's nice to be.
Dr. Butts.
Yeah. I was like, I never realized that. But he was like, why does it say butt? And it's like, oh, that was a doctor's name. He was like, the doctor's name was Butt? Yeah. His name was Butt? It's like, all right, buddy. All right.
We got it. Well, it's cool now because he will have his whole birth story and start to finish recorded.
Yeah.
That he can listen to whenever he wants. But in all seriousness, that's kind of been an unexpected gift of doing this podcast, has been being able to record these incredible moments for moms and for families.
Yeah, it's nice to relive it. Yeah. And as I listen to episodes, like I remember, because the challenge of telling a birth story to a child who was like the main character is that you have to tell it a little differently every time.
Right.
And I've always like either forgotten details or, you know, I'll get distracted by a question that he asks. But when I listen to the podcast and I hear other moms like telling their story, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. I'm going to add that to this year's story, which is nice.
You mentioned that if you had known more or had like more of a support system, you might have done things differently. Is there anything that comes to mind, like in your birth story, that you would have changed or?
Yeah.
You know,
I was very, very rigid. Well, first of all, I would have like gone to the hospital later so I could eat. Mm-hmm. By the time he was born, the only thing left in the hospital was the only thing left open in the hospital was McDonald's.
Were you at Northside?
Yes.
Oh,
and no shade to anybody who does. I don't eat McDonald's. I haven't had McDonald's in like forever, but it was the only thing open. So that was like my first meal postpartum was like.
There was no like DoorDash back then.
No, no. It was like McDonald's and that was fine. Yeah. But like I would have just cared about my nutrition and health a little differently.
Right.
Luckily, the next morning, my husband went to like Whole Foods because you know you have to like poop before you go home.
Right.
I was like, I ain't pooping McDonald's. Like it's gonna be.
It's not gonna be good.
Yeah, I need something that's gonna move through me. Yeah. So he went and got like fruit juice and stuff from Whole Foods.
Yeah.
The second thing is that I would have just like I was very rigid about his newborn schedule.
Mm.
I was like super type A. I had read all of these books that were specific about like baby behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a group called Moms on Call that's
Yeah.
focused on like sleep patterns. I had read a bunch of data books about like crib placement, and
Yeah.
I was just trying to intellectualize the process.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of emotions that got buried because I was so focused on like, did he do an ounce and a half? Did we change his bottle? Did he do this? Did he do this? Lights off, sound machine on. And I just did not feel close to the baby.
Yeah.
Like I felt close to the process of taking care of him,
Mm-hmm.
but not to the actual life itself.
Mm.
And if I could do it differently, I would have had like a midwife or a doula or a night nurse or someone who could take some of that task work off of me.
Yeah.
Not that Julian didn't. He hands-on dad, like super dad.
Yeah.
But take it off in a gentle way that like understands what I'm going through and then give me direction on what I need to be doing.
Right.
Like go rest, maybe write down your birth story, maybe just watch something new, maybe go get your nails done.
Yeah.
Maybe like between that and the breastfeeding, like I just felt like I was out of my body for months.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't lead to like a postpartum depression, but it definitely led to like a blues or a resentment or
Yeah.
like a
lack of connection is what I felt.
Yeah.
And,
like
you know, I had wanted to be with my first, I'd wanted to be a mom my whole life. And so I expected this postpartum period to be magical. And
yes.
and I'd wanted this baby so badly. So I thought, of course, I'm going to be obsessed with him. And then like when I didn't have that, I don't know. It just,
Yeah.
that
It felt like a chore sounds very like dismissive, like, but it felt like just a list of things to do. It felt like still having my job, but just in a different setting. Like instead of answering emails, I'm answering this baby that cries every 10 minutes.
Very demanding boss.
Very demanding boss. Like, and to mention, like, on top of that was the guilt and delusion in thinking that I was going to build a business while I'm.
Oh, yeah. Let's circle back to that.
It's like,
how did
what?
that go?
What? Like, I hadn't made any progress on the business. And Julian was getting frustrated because, you know, I'd tell him that I'm going to do all this stuff. He'd come home. I'd be exhausted. I'd be grumpy. I feel attacked if he even asked, like, did you get to do it? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah. Do you know what I did today?
Do you know what I did today? Yeah. And on like all of those emotions made me like ready to go back to work.
Yeah.
Like, and I wasn't ready to go back to the work, but it felt like at least I'll get to talk to adults again. Yeah. And I remember like the first week of work, like I could not remember my words. Like
I know. That's what I was going to say is like, I can't imagine trying to build a business postpartum. One, because you really don't have time because you think you're going to have all this time with this baby. But two, my brain was mush for a year postpartum, at least.
Yeah. Mine took like 2 solid years to firm up again.
Yes.
But like, yeah, it was absolute mush. Like I remember the other moms that were there, like the other girls on my team, you know, they had already had children. Like this was their second or third child that they were having while this was my first. And they were just like, oh, girl, it's normal. Like, we know what you mean. Like, just.
it sucks, though. I remember with my second, when I went back to work, I got a new boss, like right after I returned from maternity leave. And I didn't know her prior to having my baby. She was new to the company. And I remember I said to her, I was like, I promise I'm smarter than this. But I felt like such a dum-dum.
Yeah, I did. And it would be like little stuff. Like even if I wasn't talking about like the work I was doing, if we just went to lunch as one does when you come back, like I would just sit there. Yeah. Like I could not communicate and I couldn't listen and it was so weird.
Yeah.
And at that time I was breastfeeding. And so I was pumping during the day and I already had like a hard time. Like I had already decided I breastfed exclusively for 5 weeks. And Julian started to see that it was like really getting to me because I was very rigid about it. Yeah. And it just felt like I felt like a cow.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I
Especially
couldn't even.
Pumping.
Yes. Like I couldn't even have my body. Like I couldn't be gone for long periods of time because I needed to do this, that, and the other. Yeah. And so by the time I got back to work, I realized and had the conversation with him, like, I need to give something up. Like, I need to try to get back to feeling like myself. And he was like, I mean, just stop. Yeah. And I was like, it's not that easy. And he's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
does.
I don't know. It just doesn't feel easy. Like, I feel like I'm denying him of health and wellness, and everything I read says, breast is best. And I joined the breastfeeding Facebook club, and I
I'm
ordered
committed.
the cookies that are going to increase my
The
milk
lactation
production.
cookies.
Yes. Yeah, I had ordered all the things, and the new pump, and like the portable pump, and
Yeah.
like now they got the ones that just stick in your bra. And I'm like, these moms are lucky.
I
Like,
know.
I had to carry around like a freaking machine,
Yeah.
like like a fax machine. But yeah, like that period, that whole like 12-week, 16-week, first 6-month period was so rough for me. And when I finally came out of it, I was like, wow, I don't think I want to do that again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because like the kid was, sometimes I feel guilty saying it because it's not like he had like a medical emergency. Like now that I've bonded with other moms that have like had kids in NICU or like struggled with postpartum, I'm like, my experience was not that bad. Why do I feel so affected by it? But then you realize like it doesn't matter what other people go through. Like if it
No.
affected you in that way, then that's like a valid experience.
Yes.
So
Yes. Everyone experiences it and metabolizes it differently, and it doesn't make anyone's experience worse or better or anything.
yeah.
I completely understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's just like, golly, this is such a I don't even like I hate to use the word transformative because it's been, co-opted by marketing and jargon.
Yeah.
But this is truly a transformative experience. There's like the day before and the day after,
I
and you're
know.
just two people, but like there's no space to allow them to come back together in the US. Like there's no room to just say, actually, you just spend the next year trying to put the pieces back together with this new third thing or this new addition to your family. And it's one of the downsides of our culture because it's like we really should be able to do this. Like I watch a lot of nature documentaries now, and even the way that the animal kingdom treats birth, and obviously human babies are different from like kangaroos, but like the way that their births and birth culture and care, like it's just so different than what we do.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
But what's crazy? My husband and I have talked about this. Human babies are so much more helpless than animal
Yes,
babies.
they are.
And yet we're expected to just hand them off,
Yes, they
in a
are.
couple months, like hand them off to someone else who, when they were literally just a part of our bodies not long ago. Literally a part of my body.
Literally.
It, it's just crazy.
And the reason why they come out so useless and helpless is because of evolution and the fact that we're mammals and like have to be upright. Like if we walked on all fours, the baby would have longer time to like stay in there and bake. But
interesting.
yeah, I learned that, and somebody's going to call
cool.
in and be like, that's not exactly.
No.
But I learned that on one of these nature shows where it's like part of the reason is because like we walk on two legs and the baby has to come out because of like gravity or something.
Interesting. Well, speaking of physical things, what was your physical recovery like after he was born? Like, did you have any tears?
I did. I had some tears. They stitched me up right there in the hospital. But other than that, and that healed pretty quickly. Yeah. Like I didn't have a bunch of complications with that. And I thought I would because we had stairs. We still have stairs. But like that first day where I was like inching up the stairs, I was like, golly. But other than that, no like high blood pressure, no other like injuries from it.
So physically, it was pretty uneventful for you.
Pretty uneventful, yeah.
Bringing life into the world.
It was all a mental bruising.
Yeah.
Like it took me a long time
Yeah.
to be able to leave my house. Like now I see moms that are out with like a 4-week-old, 6-week-old, like they're strolling, they're, at the other kids' activities, they're at restaurants. It's like, I wasn't doing none of that. Like it took a lot of courage. I would walk with Beau around our neighborhood every day.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of courage for me to like put him in his car seat, go to the mall, walk around, come back home. Like I was stuck in the house. It felt like prison because I was tied to this nap feed schedule that was insane.
I will say I had a very similar experience to you the first time. The second time around was so much better for me in that
Yeah.
sense.
My neighbor
Uh,
said the same thing. She just had her second. He's now like 5 months old.
mhm.
And she's like, oh my God, so much easier.
It is. There's just something about I don't even know. I think part of it is you have to go. You have to keep going for the older
Yeah.
one. But
Mm-hmm.
part of it is also just the confidence, knowing what to expect,
Yes.
even though it's always different, you
It
know.
is. Yeah. But I do think that because of whatever happens to your brain when you have a kid,
Yeah.
like there's been research on this that
Yeah.
the woman's, like your brain literally changes,
Mhm.
literally. And I think because of that, like the wiring, when you find out that you're pregnant again and you're going through the same stages, like you take it differently versus the first time where you're like, what does that mean? What does that mean? What should I
Right.
make it mean?
Yeah.
And you're able to make meaning the first time, whether it's good or bad. And the second time, like you just have an understanding. Like you're not thinking, you just know.
Mhm.
And that has to feel better.
Mhm.
But I was too scared to try.
No, that's understandable. That's totally
Yeah.
understandable. It is crazy though, like you were saying how our brains change when we were talking about postpartum and going back to work. And I struggle with it because I feel like you and I grew up in the generation that was like, you can have it all. You can
Mm-hmm.
do it all. You can be it
Mm-hmm.
all. And I don't want anyone who wants that or feels like they can do it to think they can't. More power to you. But I just personally found that like after having a baby, I didn't want to do it
Yeah.
all. You
Yeah.
know? I don't know. Like, does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Oh, it does. It kicked in for me around probably 2, like when he was a little more independent. Like
Mm-hmm.
when babies are in, I should have enjoyed it more, like when they sleep all day and they just
I know.
are not mobile.
Yeah.
I should have enjoyed it
Oh
more,
man.
but I was, fussing over a wet, bib or
Right. Sleep schedule
sleep
and
schedule,
yeah.
I was finding things to do
Yep.
with him, for him to think about. And once he started walking and toddling and
Mm-hmm.
touching things and saying little words, it really sunk in that like, oh, I'm parenting now, like
Yeah.
capital P.
Yeah.
Before I was parenting lowercase p, like more so just making sure it doesn't roll off the couch or
Yeah.
like walk into a fireplace.
Right.
Now I'm actually like guiding, explaining, sounding things out, teaching him where his nose is.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like I felt more fulfilled in doing that and watching those milestones than I did creating another chart, another deck,
Mm-hmm.
seeing the revenue number go up again at
Right.
work. Like those tricks were just like, okay, compared to like, well, Beau blew a bubble this weekend.
I know. It's so hard to like rectify too, like these two sides of yourself, right? Because like you said, it's like pre-birth and then after, like, and
Yes.
everything changes. And it's literally everything physically, mentally, like your sense of self, like how you view yourself. And
And your partnership, like your
yeah.
relationship with your
Oh my
husband.
gosh. Yeah.
That's a whole, I got to come back for a part 2. Cause
I
like
know.
that part has been another journey that doesn't stop. Cause it's
Yeah.
like you have to continue to make room for like, even if you don't have more children,
Mm-hmm.
you have to make room for the role that your child plays in both of your lives and
Yeah.
how it affects like both of you. And
Yeah.
you're constantly meeting a new version of your spouse in
Mm-hmm.
addition to meeting a new version of your kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird, I keep saying weird.
It is weird. I
It
always say,
is.
like, if you think a baby's gonna fix something in your marriage, you are wrong
Oh
because
my God.
it only gets harder after the
It
kids are,
it does.
and it gets more beautiful too,
Yes.
and but just all the things. But it is not easy, and
Whew.
a lot changes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I stopped believing the myth of having it all like
Yeah.
right around the time he was 2. Because I'm
Mhm.
just like, there's no physical way I cannot be in 2 places at
I
once. My
know.
brain cannot be in 2 places at once the way that I want to be parenting this
Mhm.
kid.
Mhm.
And especially because I have a boy, like when you, at this time, like the research had just started to come out about like the male loneliness crisis and
Mhm.
the early indicators that our boys were falling behind, like as a nation.
Mhm.
And I'm Black, if y'all can't tell, but like Black boys were even further behind that. And I really wanted to feel like my son was not just going to get swept up into that. Like I truly, honestly, to this day in 2026, feel like there's no better time to be raising a boy than right now
Mm.
because we have all of this knowledge that we can teach them. We have all this context. We understand where people get things wrong. We understand where we expect and ask so much of our boys that we don't ask of our girls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, well, now I get a chance to like teach him how to be sensitive. But that's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like it is a lot of explaining to make sure that like your kid doesn't show up in middle school teasing girls about periods.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's a very specific example.
No,
but like
I think about that.
those are the milestones that I
Mm-hmm.
give myself for whether or not I'm being a quote unquote good mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, is my son going to be the kind of asshole that
Right.
makes fun of a girl who's having a bad day?
Right.
Or is he going to try in whatever way makes sense for him
Mm-hmm.
to make it a little easier for her? Is he going to correct one of his friends? Is he going like, and that requires so much work.
So much. I think back to, we were talking about this before we started recording. I think back to how hard the newborn days were. And that's so physically taxing. But it is nothing compared to actually trying to raise a good human. You know,
Oh my gosh.
It's like keeping them alive versus the making them a good human. And like the latter is what I find now so intimidating. And that's what keeps me up at night. Like truly, that is what keeps me up at night is I'm like, is what I did today going to, and my dad was a psychologist. And so I probably grew up with being overly aware of attachment theory. Yes. Attachment theory and like how, you know, parents' behaviors affect their children. So I definitely overanalyze it without a doubt. But that's the stuff that keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
And we're not even really there yet. Although like we're starting to.
So is your oldest in kindergarten yet?
He'll be in kindergarten in August. So he's 4.5.
Okay. So it gets easier once well, in a lot of ways it gets easier. It gets harder because you lose the closeness of like the daycare family or if you had a nanny or whatever your situation was. Like, you know, in daycare, you can go in and you like see the parents in the classroom and like it's the same little close-knit family. And then once they go to elementary, it kind of changes. But I have found that the cure to my overanalyzing has been to really lean into community.
Okay.
Like this is the other part of me that I was not expecting. Like I am volunteer mom now.
I love it.
Like
I love this for you.
Team mom on the baseball team. And I'm not that kind of person. Like I'm not an artsy craftsy like person. But I have found that like if I'm up at that school and I can see and know his teachers, my husband is like about to be the PTA president. He's got it worse than me. He's like already on the PTA board.
I love it.
Coaches Little League. He has gone like full in. I'm still inching my way in.
Yeah.
But when I am at the school, when I am getting to know the other parents, when we're having these conversations, you feel less alone. You feel less of the burden to like try to make him be a good human all by yourself versus just make sure he's surrounded by good humans and make sure that he knows how to recognize when he's not and remove himself from the situation.
Yeah.
And that has helped a lot. Like it has created another layer of anxiety and skill building on me because like no one tells you how much of your child's what is the word I'm looking for? Like no one tells you how much of your child's happiness or quality of life is dependent on you as their parent's social skills. I had no idea. Like typically as an adult, you meet your friends at work or, you know, at a bar or wherever they carry over from college. When your child becomes school age, like so many of your quote unquote friends or like social circle revolves around theirs. And I was like, I was not prepared for this. Like I literally have to work hard because you don't have this commonality of like, oh, we both went to Carolina or, oh, we both worked at this company. It's like our kids go to school together.
Yeah.
Which means you could like some of Beau's friends' moms are like, you know, 26.
You're like, what do we have in common?
And it's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess you had a kid when you were 18. Like that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
And then some of them are older. Like one of his friends' moms is 50. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, scientifically that could happen.
Yeah.
Some of the kids are raised by their grandparents.
Yeah.
And so you're interacting with like all these people who have the same mission. They're just trying to get their kid to the next level. But like you can't remove yourself from the equation because like the kid has no control over when they see this friend or it's a weird. I need to write about this because I'm still processing like the amount of social skills you need as a parent.
I've never thought about it that way. How you like if it doesn't come naturally to you, if you're more of an introvert,
which I am.
like, do you feel add it to the list of mom guilt? Like, do you feel like,
Yes.
guilty if you don't want to talk to that mom who
Yes.
whose kid your Beau was friends with? And is that going to put him at a disadvantage because he's not going to be invited over to play
Yes.
because like you didn't put yourself out there? It's
That's
like,
exactly it. That
oh,
is exactly it. And there's layers. Like
yeah,
there's layers, especially when they start playing like sports, because there are some moms that are just like sports moms.
yeah,
Like, this is what I do, queen bee energy, like same with school moms. It's
yeah,
like, I'm a pick up, drop off mom. This is what I do. And then there are moms like me who are like introverted. Like, I'm not
yeah,
going to be rude if you talk to me, but
right,
like, I'm not going to spark up a
yeah,
conversation. You just have to remember, like, you're not the only one. Like,
mhm.
go stand next to the other awkward person or find something silly to comment on or complain about and see if they respond. And that's it. Like, you
Mhm.
don't have to like get to know them. Now I'm at the point, he's going into 4th grade, where the conversations are getting a little deeper, and I'm not very good at it.
Mm,
But I'm trying.
yeah.
And hopefully by the time he's in like 8th grade, I'll be good at it. But we're supposed to be talking about
I
babies.
know. But I mean, you were talking about how community is so important
Yeah.
as Beau gets older. And something that like I'm so passionate about with birth is like community post birth too.
Yes.
And this past week on the podcast, well, won't be this past week when this comes out, but recently on the podcast, I had a postpartum doula come on and talk about
I love
everything
that.
she does and all the work she does. And for whatever reason, it's so hard for women, moms to ask for help.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, that's just something that I hope more new moms will
Yeah.
start to do.
Yeah. And maybe we need like another way to say it.
Mhm.
Like, instead of asking for help, it's more so just like describing your experience more and
Mm.
letting people show up for you,
Yeah,
letting people help you. Cuz sometimes you don't even think you're asking for help,
right.
which is what prevents people from doing it. Like, they're just not even talking about it.
Mhm.
Like, you don't even have to ask anything. Sometimes it's a matter of just being honest about what you're going through and answering the question, like, how's it going? Differently than just like, fine. You
Mhm.
can say something like, oh, sleep has been rough,
Right.
whatever. And I know that leads in a lot of times to like a bunch of unsolicited advice and people giving you all kind of tips and have you
Uh-huh.
tried it? Have you done this? Like, that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But once you are discerning about like whether someone's asking from a genuine place or whether you think they can help you, like, sometimes it's just about being more honest
Mhm.
and letting people help you,
Yes.
especially if you don't know what you need help with. At the
Yes.
time, I didn't have the language for what I needed help with.
Mhm.
I thought, this is just how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this hard. This is what
Mhm.
everything said. This is what everybody told me. And like, if I ask for help, it means I can't do it,
Right.
versus I need help creating a schedule for my baby that
Mhm.
doesn't drive me fucking crazy. If I had known to say that, if I
Right.
had known that was an option, I would have asked.
Well, and again, I think we're part of this generation of women that is like, we can do it all. Like we are trained to act like men, to be
Yep.
organized, to be the boss of the house, whatever it
Yep.
is.
Yep.
And I think it's just hard for us to admit that we can't or we don't want to even.
I know. I know. It's like the one downside of feminism. And this is
Mhm.
not to, don't, y'all, don't come
Don't
for
come
me.
for her.
Yeah, don't come for me. Don't come for me. But it always assumes that when a woman does not want the path,
Mhm.
that she's doing it wrong.
Right.
Like, they did some research on girls in STEM. You remember there was that big
Oh,
push to
yeah.
get girls in like STEM careers.
Yeah.
And then they finally like stepped back and asked girls why they weren't interested in STEM. And it was like, because I don't want to.
Mhm.
It's not that I'm not smart enough.
Mhm.
It's not that I don't love math. It's not that I don't understand technology. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
I would
Doesn't resonate.
rather, yeah, I would rather be doing this.
Yeah.
I'd rather be taking care of babies as a doula. I'd
Right.
rather be a nurse. I'd rather be a teacher. I'd rather be
Write a
at home with
novel.
my kids.
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather be a writer. And there's no, I won't say there's no room for that, but
Mhm.
that discussion got lost in
It
the
did.
push to get girls in all these like, technical male dominated careers and
Mhm.
spaces. And something very similar is happening to boys. I feel like boys
Mm.
are where girls were
Mhm.
20 years ago,
Yeah.
where it's like they've just been left like boys think there are only 3 ways to be.
Mm.
And it's like, there's actually like 100 ways to be.
Yeah.
You can do a bunch of different careers. There's no reason why you shouldn't be a teacher. We need more male teachers. We
Right.
need more male nurses. We need all of these things. Like we need
Yeah.
everybody. And I think we're at the very beginning of that stage of like, no, like men can do things
Yeah.
besides be leaders.
Well, and I think like ultimately, I just keep coming back to it's so individual.
It is.
It is so individual.
It is.
And that's how I feel birth should be as well. Like
Yeah.
we're all individual human beings bringing a new unique human being into this world.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be a one size fits all experience. And
Exactly.
you know, it's so wild. Like even if on paper you've had the same birth experience as someone else, like you've both had a C-section or you've both given birth vaginally, like the details from how you got from point A to point Z are like completely different and unique. But
yes. And I think that's why we need spaces like this podcast and work that you're doing to bring out more individual stories. Like stuff like this is never going to make the big news, like where most people consume. This is not a Today's Show special.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but like the way that our media is set up now, like that's not the point.
Yeah.
Is to help people find their like individual, like it's meant to shepherd people into a bunch of different lanes. But when you have people who are passionate about making sure that everybody feels like there's a place to be heard, everybody has somewhere where they can go, where they can find someone who's like them, and you're willing to be the person to create it, it's like that's how you start to make that change. It doesn't just happen magically. Like we all have to agree that this is how it should be. And whether you agree with it or not, like just know it wasn't for you. Like take the part that matters to you and leave the rest.
Yeah.
Like support it anyway.
Exactly. I love that.
Is that where we end?
I always like to end just to wrap it back up by asking you to describe birth in 3 words, whatever comes to mind for you.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah.
Life-changing. I'm going to squeeze worth it into one
do
word.
A little hyphen.
Yeah. Worth it.
I love that. It is so worth it.
Yeah.
Also so weird.
So weird.
So crazy. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I truly appreciate it. It's been so wonderful to see you and talk to you.
Same. Thank you for having me. I learned so much, and we got to do this again. We got to do like a part 2.
I know. We got so much more to talk about. All right. Well, you've been listening to the Arrivals Podcast. I'm your host, Merelise Wilson. Until next time.